it's Shawnee. Welcome back. So it's at the end of my workday and I figured that I would do a video talking about my top 3 favorite, most reached for products in the categories of foundation, concealer, pressed powder, and loose powder. Now within the categories, the products are not ranked, they're just the top 3. So the ones that I reached for the most, the ones I enjoyed the most, and yeah. So in foundation, one of the foundations I really enjoyed this year is the All Hours foundation from YSL Yves Saint Laurent. Now this is described as a luminous matte foundation. It has SPF 30 in there. You want to make sure to put on your sunscreen though. Outside of this isn't enough. Up to 24-hour full coverage with a weightless feel. Now, I have probably worn it 12 hours. I have not worn it 24 hours. I do feel like this dries down. It looks really good with some powder over it. It definitely is more of a luminous matte, so it just doesn't look like a super dry Sahara Desert matte. The shade I have is DN7, so that is Deep Neutral 7. And what I also like is that there is an expiration date at the bottom, and this expires in May of 2024. Now, I don't detect any fragrance in this, but there might be. So if you have sensitive skin, you just want to make sure that you look at the ingredients either on the packaging or on their website to make sure that there's nothing in there that's gonna like make your face fall off. So YSL All Hours foundation. Another one that I've been enjoying is the Sephora Best Skin Ever foundation. Now, this is my first Sephora foundation. I have not used any of their face products, I don't think, like base products, and I am really enjoying this. I'm really glad that I got it. It also has a very nice bottle. Like, I mean, this stands up to this, right? Like this, I think this is glass. Yeah, so love it. Now, this foundation has more of a natural finish. So you're gonna get less of that matte and more of that just like soft kind of silky, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but a natural finish. I would say this is around like medium coverage. You could do like light to medium. So it's definitely, in my opinion, it's not full coverage on me. Now the shade that I have in this foundation is 59N. So that is 59 neutral. Again, it has a pump and I just really enjoy it. This matches me very well. This is also said to be long wearing, and I would say that it is. Now for me, my days, my work days, could be 8 hours, could be 12 hours. So I would say the most I have worn these foundations is like upwards of 12 hours. So that is the second one. Now, my most recent purchase that I have really been enjoying is the Haus Labs Skin Tech Foundation. It's another like this one, you could hurt somebody with this. This is like a weapon. I really like the shape of the bottle. Again, there is a pump. That's what I prefer. I was really surprised at how much I love this foundation. I think it looks so good. It goes on so well. It is long wearing in my opinion. And the shade I have is 480 Medium Deep Neutral. And yeah, this is really good. This is my first Haus Labs purchase, and I really like it. I want to venture into more of their products, but this is definitely going to be one that I repurchase for sure. Now, out of the 3, of course, the Sephora one is the most affordable. I think then it's the Haus Labs, and then Yves Saint Laurent is on the expensive side. So those are the foundations. Now let's move on to the concealers. I have 3 concealers. Now the first one is the Saint Laurent All Hours Precise Angles Concealer. So when I got the foundation, I was like, oh my God, I love this foundation. So when I saw that they were coming out with a concealer, I was like, I gotta get the concealer. So I actually have two shades. This first one is DN5 and this one is DN1. So this one, the DN1, the lighter one, I use as like concealer under the eyes and just to brighten areas on my face. And this one, the DN5, I will often use for spot concealing if I'm not wearing foundation and I just want to have something to even my skin tone. Now this, oh, it's very similar in terms of the packaging, right? This is just like, it looks like a smaller version of the foundation. And it's very interesting the way the brush or the doe foot is. It has this sort of pointed edge. And I think that that's really cool. It does allow you to kind of get up in there if you tend to put concealer towards the inner corner. And I just like it. I think I don't have any other like concealer doe foot brush applicator thingies like this. And I think the packaging is just super cool. This is a plastic kind of bottle, but I just love these look so like luxurious together. So if you're around my skin tone and you want something for under the eyes, there's like DN1, that's like the brightest you're gonna get, and then DN5 is more of closer to a skin tone shade. Now, oh, I just noticed something. Interesting. So the next one is the Sephora Best Skin Ever. I'm pretty consistent, right? YSL Foundation, YSL Concealer, Best Skin Ever Foundation, Best Skin Ever Concealer. Again, I have two shades. I tend to get two shades of concealer just because sometimes I want to use it for under the eyes and just brightening certain areas. And then other times I just want to use it for some spot concealing without going into the foundation because you've got like a more concentrated, you know, coverage in the concealers. So the shades I have, or did I explain? This one is a Sephora Best Skin Ever Full Coverage Multi-Use Concealer. It gives a natural finish and it is long wearing. The shade that I use for like brightening the under eye and such is 53.5N. So you can see that. And then the shade I use, like if I want to spot conceal, is 59N, which is the exact same shade as the foundation. You see how I did that? You see how I did that? So there are those, and I'm sorry I did not do the same for the YSL, so let me do that. This is DN5, this is the lighter one. Let's put that there. And then this is, no, this was DN1, this is DN5. Hopefully I'm saying the correct things. Forgive me if I am not. There are those. So as you can see, so far the YSL DN1 is the lightest of the bunch. So this is when I'm going for like full coverage, boom, pow, pow kind of look. And then I think the Sephora ones are a bit deeper when I don't want to just be bright as the sun. And then, so we've got the YSL, the Best Skin Ever, and you're not surprised that also there's the House Labs concealer. I honestly did not realize I did that. That is the foundation and concealers. I just noticed that. That's crazy. It's also crazy that I just noticed it. But this is the House Labs concealer, so you can see it together with the foundation. And the shade I have in the concealer is 52 Medium Deep Neutral. So I think this is 40, no, I'm sorry. let's re-say that. 42 medium deep neutral, and I think the foundation is 48 medium deep neutral. So let me show you this. Now the one thing with this concealer is I find that it's a little bit more difficult to pull the doe foot applicator out of the bottle, but here is this shade. Now I think the one, in terms of formula, the one that isn't as like matte is the Sephora Best Skin Ever. I really like this one. It's not like super dry. I mean, it's not like hydrating, like put this under your eyes and you're gonna wake up with like hydrated under eyes, but this just is not as matte as the other two. I would say that the YSL one is the mattest, the most matte, and then the House Labs is like in the middle of the three. Yeah, in the middle. Okay, so those are the concealers and the foundations. So let's move on to powders and then we will be done. What should we start with first? I guess we'll start with the loose powders. Now, one of my favorites is the Oma Beauty Trippin' Smooth Powder. Now, this is one, I'm not hearing many people talk about it anymore, but you unscrew the top and here is the powder inside, and all you do is you turn, oh, sorry, you turn it and the powder comes out. So what I tend to do is just take a powder puff and I just go into there and then pull it out and just like this. And then just put it on. So this is really cool. Rather than having to deposit the powder into like the cap, which you can do, but I like that it's kind of contained in here. So again, I tend to get two shades. What is that about? So this one I have is Rich Tan, and then this one is Honey. So this one is a bit lighter, more of like old school, like banana. So yeah, I really enjoy these this powder. I find that it is I feel like it does keep my makeup on a little bit longer. I do like the way it just it smooths. It's tripping smooth. It smooths everything out, and I just go between these two shades. It kind of just depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I need a bit of a lighter powder, and I'll most likely or more likely use this to set concealer, and then oftentimes I will go in with the Rich Tan shade to set all over my face. So it's kind of surprising that Rich Tan works on my skin tone. I think, is this the deepest one? Every time I hear tan though, I'm like, whoop, that's gonna be too light, but this actually works really, really well. Now, the next one is, which one do I want to talk about first? Maybe this one. This is the By Terry Hyaluronic Tinted Hydra Powder, and I have it in the shade 500 Medium Dark. Now, this is just a little bit of powder, y'all, compared to this and some of the other ones. But what I've realized is I do not like this as an all-over setting powder. I like this to set my under eyes because it has that hyaluronic acid that's supposed to give you a little bit of moisture, and yeah. That's it. Initially, I used this as an all-over powder. I did not like it. It did not keep me matte. I was like super duper oily throughout the day. Now, what I will say is to me, I felt oilier than I looked. So even in like the mirrors and stuff, I looked a little oily, but it looked more glowy. But I prefer to use this for under eyes. There's that there. I find that it like looks really nice and smooth out, and yeah, I just don't like it as an all over setting powder. Also, it's expensive, and so I like being able to just use it a little bit at a time as to not run through it. I did get it on sale. I would not purchase it outside of a sale. That's what I tell myself now. And I was surprised by this powder, and it's one I've been wanting to try for a while, and that is the Givenchy Prisme Libre powder. So now it is square, and it has 4 different shades, right? And I've just been so intrigued by this. I feel like I'm still figuring it out, but I've put it on with like the colors mixed together. I've used a powder puff. It comes with a puff, but I don't know where that is. And I love the way it sets everything. Yeah, it's like you just have to try it. Now, I have it in the deepest shade, which is shade 6. I tried the... A little fly, a little gnat. I'm sorry. I tried the number 5, and it was too light. Now, what I don't like is that they don't have a mini of the number 6. So there are minis of 1 through 5. There is no mini for number 6. I don't know what that's about. So I tried the mini of number 5, and I was like, oh, this is a little bit too light for me. This number 6 is perfect. All of the powders really just come together to set everything really nicely, and I've been using it to set my face pretty consistently since I got it. So initially I was like, what is this? Why is all the different colors and stuff? But once you mix it together, it just somehow works. I don't know. We'd have to call the offices of Givenchy to figure out what on earth magic is in here. So we had the Oma Beauty by Terry Givenchy. Now, pressed powders. I go back and forth between using loose powders versus pressed powders for setting my face, but there are a couple of pressed powders that I have really enjoyed this year. Let's see. Let's start with the Dior Backstage powder, and I have this one in 6N, which is 6 neutral. Now, what's interesting about this is everyone was talking, like, hyping this up, and I was like, it's okay, I don't really like it. This was actually in my declutter pile. This was about to go far, far away, but I decided to keep it. I decided to keep it and continue using it. I think it was Mona who said that she sets her face with this or something else, and I was like, okay, let me try it. Let me keep it. So I pulled it out of the declutter pile, and I like it. I mean, I won't say that it's like my favorite powder ever, because I don't know that it does anything that's like mind-blowing for me, but I do really like it as a finishing powder. So just kind of brushing over my face, yeah, I like it, and it says to have a natural radiant blur effect, and it gives an all-day matte finish, and it's the Dior Backstage powder, no powder. So I like it well enough, and I'm going to continue using it. I'm going to use it up. I would probably repurchase it, though. I probably would. I don't know that it beats my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish, but I've been letting that one rest this year and using other powders. Now, the next one is actually the Makeup Forever HD Skin Matte Velvet 24-hour undetectable blurring powder foundation. So yes, you heard that right. It is a powder foundation. This actually stays in my bag for like my purse when I'm going out or leaving the house, essentially. So I like to have this in there just in case if I don't have on any makeup and I want to put some on. This is great. Or if I get a little oily or something and I just want to tap into it and put some on, then this is great for that as well. So when you open it, there is that mirror, and you have the powder here, and you have a puff that goes into here. You just want to make sure that you wash your puff, and mine is being washed. You can always use something else or a brush or anything to get a lighter kind of finish. And this is in the shade 4N68. Is that right? That's weird that they have a 4, then an N, then 6-8. But that's what it is. Apparently it's made in France. Now, Makeup Forever is actually one of the first, like, non-drugstore brands that I tried. Initially, I tried MAC because that's like part of the initiation into makeup. And then I moved on to Makeup Forever, and I have really enjoyed, I used to love their matte velvet liquid foundation, and they had a powder that I used to love, and they got rid of it. But I enjoy this. I really do like this, and I think it says something that it stays in my purse, because not everything does. Now, probably the GOAT of powders, greatest of all time, powders of this year is the NARS Soft Matte Powder. Now, which one is this? So this is one that I've been using to set my face as well. This is in the shade Offshore, and the way it's described is it is a soft matte advanced perfecting powder. I like this powder a lot. I will either use it with a puff or I will use it with a brush, and really just depending on the day is how I use it. Sometimes I use it to set my under eye, sometimes I use it to set my whole face. It kind of just depends on how I'm feeling. Now, I like this powder so much that I bought several shades. So Offshore is the one that I use to just like, it's like a finishing or setting powder. Then, which one is this one? High Tide is another one that sometimes I'll use all over the face, just to set or finish things off. Then Bay, B-A-Y, is a yellowish powder. I just wanted to get this one to see how it would be in setting like my under eyes and stuff. And then the final one that I have is Seafront. This is a bit of a deeper one. It's turned out to be deeper than I thought when I put it on. You can't really see it, did I? You can't see it, but it deepens a bit. So actually I will sometimes put this over like a cream or powder bronzer. And this gives it a little bit more, it just like zhuzhes it up a little bit. Zhuzhes. So that is it for the powders. So we have the Dior Backstage Powder No Powder, the Makeup Forever Powder Foundation that you can use as powder, and then the NARS Soft Matte Powders that are like hockey pucks. So that was foundation, concealer, loose powder, and pressed powder. Those were my top 3 in every category. I did not know that the foundations and concealers were going to be the same brands and foundations and concealers. But that doesn't surprise me. I feel like that solidifies my love of those top 3 in those categories. Okay, so losing my ability to put together sentences. I'm just go. All right, so let me know if there are other categories you would like me to do. These are the things I use like all the time. So if there are other categories, just let me know. In terms of eyeshadows, don't let me know about that because I have like 1 or 2 videos planned already of like the stuff that are at the top for me. So once you see those, if you want like more in terms of narrowing it down even more, just let me know and I will give that to you if I can, if I have time. Also, just in general, this is a busy time in terms of people going home for the holidays. They need a little bit of mental health support. So this can be super busy, but I'm gonna try to get videos in as much as I can whenever I can. So bear with me. And that's it, y'all. I hope that some of this was helpful. I also hope that you are continuing to take care of yourself. I would love it if you liked the video. I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave me a comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.